It's not the rule. Divine, it does not matter if you called it. Stop. Just stop.
That's how that works.
Divine, that is not how that works.
It's the law.
It's not.
You want to ask YouTube?
No, I don't. I'm telling you, that ain't nobody law. Hey y'all. Welcome. We are running a little late, just a little late, but we're here. And my daughter, and I'm getting this all over myself. Okay. My daughter, we are having a little celebratory, pre-dinner celebratory dessert, because how else would someone who has to go to the dentist every 3 months because their teeth are sugared out, likes to celebrate, but with pre-dinner dessert. Okay, so we doing it like the French, I guess, today, eating the dessert first. But she got on a roll. So yes, so bon appetit, congratulations. My peach pud, and somebody finished his, so it must be really good. So, but without further ado,
we're not even eating it right.
I'm eating it the way I want to eat it. Hello. I am Courtney Omega Doss.
Oh, I'm Devon Doss.
All right, he's watching my food. Can't even.
And
we are here for this today. Okay, so you've seen the topic. This is the reason. Usually, I'm not even kidding. Y'all know me. I'll just be like, okay, you know what? I'm fine. Just, we'll do it on another day. But this topic is something that I've been wanting to expound upon for a little bit. So I knew it was important that we just didn't, we just didn't neglect it and say, okay, we're going to do it on another day. Today is the day. So these are hot chocolate cinnamon rolls, y'all. And husband was right. This is really good. Really good. But we did something different. So therefore, I think we can make it as our own now. We put my daughter, I don't like to use pork products. And they had marshmallow icing that came with the pack. But I don't like to use pork products. So we use condensed milk for the topping. Which
sweet condensed milk.
That's the only type it is.
No, they had condensed milk
before. They do have condensed milk. Yeah, that's not sweetened. I've never had it though. I've never had it, but yes, now as you said something, yes, I've seen it. Maybe you've had evaporated milk. You've had that. I've never seen it not sweetened.
No, it didn't evaporate.
Anyway, sweetened condensed milk as the ooey gooey topping, which is the same topping that we use for our cinnamon rolls. So I wasn't too sure how it would go with the hot chocolate effect, but it's delicious. So we're going to get into it today, as a matter of fact, and have this topic, talk about this topic. But before we get to the topic, because I do want to jump to it, because like I said, I know we're running late. I do kind of want to, share a couple of things that are on my mind. Because it's the middle of the week, and as y'all know, this is date night for husband and I, our date day, which I prefer them being a day as opposed to being a night, because the night goes so fast, y'all. Because, I like to get my sleep in. So it's good that when they're the day. But there were a lot of appointments today. It's Thanksgiving. Well,
Thanksgiving month.
It's Thanksgiving month, right. So usually I shut down things for our date day, but this month I really made a commitment, and I was just like, I'm not gonna We're gonna make sure. Hey, Naima. We're gonna make sure that if people, if this is the only day they say they can come, we're gonna let them come. Usually after you have to pick another day or you have to get a delivery. But I wanted to be very intentional while making sure that people that said that they have a need and they could only come today, we open up Wednesday. Usually Wednesday is not open. It's just for emergency only. But I've liked seeing how God has moved on these days, because I always say, if it happens, God wanted it, this was something that was in his will, and seeing that what has transpired over these last couple of Wednesdays has been pretty cool, So I am getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, and not just trying to control all the situations, which is very hard for me. So it's still a journey, y'all, but I'm working on it. And I think I'm getting better each day. Huh. So, no, it's good. A couple of things on my mind. I have started walking. After I take the kids to the school, to the bus for school, which is like literally at the top of our path. I then start on my walk, and I wanted to open this up with these with the intention of calling these opportunities, just like my walk with God. Walking is something that I definitely, now I walk as a mode of transportation because I do not, I don't drive. And so I walk, but I also walk for recreation. So don't get it twisted. Sometimes, yes, I have to walk because, hey, that's my mode of transportation. But other times, like, I miss just walking for recreational purposes, just to enjoy like the day, for a workout, that sort of thing. So I've resumed to doing that the last couple of months, and it has it definitely, I'm getting back into the groove of things. So on this particular Monday, I set out when I set out on these walks, I'm always just like thinking about something, and I'm just like kind of like walking through it, kind of like Mary, right? Except I'm gonna have to stop saying Mary because they was on that stupid commercial for Kamala. But we're gonna get into that in a couple of minutes. More into that. More on that in a moment. So with this particular walk this Monday morning, not this morning, the day, but this Monday morning this week, I was thinking about someone in a conversation in particular. And I'm not even kidding when I say this, y'all. My husband and I had this discussion that we're about to ensue today for our theme, for our topic. We have been talking about it the day before. And I was literally talking about this particular person. I had
actually talked about it
volunteered. We have talked about that particular person a couple of times, but
no, I'm talking about the topic.
The topic, but I'm talking about this particular person. Mm-hmm. So we were talking about the topic, but I was talking about this specific person because I hadn't seen him since, we volunteered for this event, and I hadn't seen him since then. And we had a lot of good conversations during the time because we were on the same station together. We had a lot of good conversations, but I always wondered, did I never see him again because of the fact that, he was, it's like, what was that? What you call that thing? Giggity?
From Family Guy?
No.
Giggity?
Yeah, when you had Donnie doing it and she could do it and she didn't like doing it with her head moving.
Yeah, because her neck man long, so she can kind of do it.
So is that what it's called?
From Family Guy.
Yeah, is that what it's called?
Giggity. From I forgot the guy's name.
Well, I've never seen it, but I remember when you used to tell Pud to do it. Anyway, So I was thinking about this particular person. We had talked about this particular person, I promise you, on the day before on Sunday. And I had not seen him in months, like literally in months. But I was thinking about this good conversation. I was thinking that, well, he kind of never follow up because the conversations were good. I was just like, were they too complicated? Were they too racial? Were they too I don't want to say complex. Were they too conscious? Was it too woke? I didn't know, but I just thought, okay, I'm kind of wondering whatever happened to him. I'm not even kidding. So I come.
We probably should do a thing about that word woke and how it's been hijacked. Because that's
another topic.
Yeah, I know. But another topic for another day. But it's crazy though.
So I walked out of the cul-de-sac subdivision, right? I walked out of the part of the cul-de-sac to go onto the main street where my walk ensues. And who is there but this guy? And I could not do anything but like literally throw my head back and laugh. Like, for real, the scripture that says we have not because we ask not, I can't tell you how many times that has brought itself like to fruition into light in my life. And so, and just like clockwork, me and this guy, we get into this great conversation. And I'm just like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, we had such a good conversation. And yet and still, the same thing that happened before. But he did tell me what he told me before, and he told me again, he's really super busy. I believe he is a lawyer. He's never said that per se, but kind of like what old girl said, I know one when I see one. Because of my interaction with lawyers, I kind of know how they're able to skip that conversation because they never know who they're in the presence of. So, and people have mixed emotions when it comes to lawyers, right? So he safely talks about things that lawyers would care about without saying my client or I represent this person, because you never know. He's very good at playing it safe. This is why a lot of lawyers are lobbyists, and a lot of lobbyists become lawyers. Vice versa. So anyway, we had this great conversation, and I did bring up that same topic of what I was, wondering. And it was so beautiful how he just really cleared it up, and I really didn't feel like it was jargon. I really didn't feel like, I was being taken. No, I said it wasn't.
You sure?
Did you stop?
You never know that you're loyal.
I do know. Because I know one when I see one, because I am one. But we did talk through it, and it was beautiful. We had a great moment. We went over some scriptures together. It was just beautiful. It was a lot of agape love. So I'm just looking forward to things continuing to build and seeing, where things go. He did invite us to his church on this weekend. So we'll see how that pans out. We are going to be volunteering at the same spot on Saturday. So we'll see how that pans out. So it continues.
No, go ahead.
Wow. Usually I don't have lemonade with desserts because it kind of cancels out, but there's enough lemon in there to make it jump the sweetness. I love it. So that was a fun way, a very, not just fun, but a very, it seemed to be a very integral way to start the week. So I have been, like I was telling, my husband over the past couple of nights, like I've just been really anxious when I'm sleeping. And last night was probably the first night where I've gotten it's just real calm rest. But I wasn't able to rest for too long because Wednesday is also not only our date day, but it's recycle day. So I have to be up a little earlier than usual just to make sure, because them recycle, they come when they want. The garbage people will come at 10 o'clock, but them recycle people, they'll come between 7 and 8 o'clock, 7, 8, 6 and 7, 7 and 8 and 9. They come when they want. So to make sure I'm ahead of the game, ahead of that, I have to get up a little earlier. But yeah, it's been an eventful week so far, and I'm definitely looking forward to how the rest of it ensues. It has gotten cold. Yeah, it has gotten cold. Well, so what's going on in your mind before we get into this topic, babe? What's going on with you this week?
This week?
Yeah, what's going on with you this week? Because yeah,
the family tree. That's it.
That's right. Why don't you give people an update? That's crazy.
Oh, okay. So me and my cousin, shout out to Terrence, because he kind of initiated this.
What was his reason? Back. I never asked. What was his reason?
Probably the same as mine. Like, we don't know nothing. We didn't know where we came from and what was what. We would pick up little stories, here and there, but it just seems like, everybody was kind of tight-lipped about the past. Mm-hmm. You never, knew why or whatever. But, and it's crazy too, because my auntie, she, I told her where we were, like how much, progress we had made. And, she was amazed. She said, when we was growing up, we didn't. Oh wait, you dropped something. Let me get that for you. You ain't need that. She said that when they were growing up, they never really talked about where they were from, where Nana was from, and this, that, and the other. But what I have noticed is that tracing our roots, anything prior to 1930 is very
cheers to pudding.
It's very hard. It's very hard because the records get really spotty. Well, our records get very spotty, and I would assume unless you were a prominent Black family, and I'm not too sure how many of those there were back in the 20s and the 30s, and but yeah, the records was super spotty. Now I don't know if this was just poor people in general or a race thing, but I know when I'm on these websites and I'm trying to find things, there's a lot of Caucasians that go all the way back to the 1800s, and it's a lot of records go back to the 1800s, and I'm asking myself, why is it so hard for us to trace ours? But we're coming along. We went as far back as the early 1900s so far, but
I think it's amazing. I mean, I want to tell you that, like, we haven't talked too much about it because he's been talking about it, but we haven't talked about it. I think it is amazing what he's doing, because I got to be honest, I've never been as interested. It's just like, in my my family, I'm just like, well, I'm here, and then, but the way you've been digging through this information, it makes me feel like, wow, like that's really unselfish. Like that's really unselfish. And it's moments like that where I have to check my heart. You got to have a little heart check. And it's things like that where I'm able to honestly say, that ain't never been my portion. I've never been my interest. I'm just like, well, I'm here. I know who my mom and dad was. I know who my grandparents were on both sides, I never met my grandfather on my father's side, on my paternal side, because he passed away shortly after my father's birth. So I never met him. And I remember for years when people said, oh, dad's dad died when he was 2. I remember just being very confused. I'm just like, how did he make daddy? Because I was just like, if he died, he was 2. Like what? Like, because it was before I understood. I was just like, he died when he was 2. And just for years I was saying that, like in my head, like, oh, he died when he was 2. Like, wow, his dad died when he was a baby. When he was a baby, not when he was a baby. Yeah. And that's another reason too why parents always tell us don't be in grown folks conversations, because it's things that you can't even fathom, you can't even understand. So it has made me. But
you know what though?
You
and
like
it's
very,
crazy because when we was talking to Sharon, right? Sharon is I guess would be third, fourth cousin.
Okay.
Okay, she is my grandfather's cousin. Cousin? I don't know. She's a cousin. A lot of the stuff that she knew that wasn't documented, that she told us, because she's in her 70s now. She said that she got because she was a fly on the wall when she was a kid. Mm-hmm. Yeah. She just kind of being inside and just hustling.
Just hearing,
right, and that's how she got a lot of the information, because I guess this is stuff that they didn't share.
That might be y'all family's Monica.
No, but this is on both sides though.
That would be Monica.
I guess. For sure.
For sure. Monica wasn't just interested in what was going on Dad's side. Everybody's household was good business to know. So and a shout out again to my dear sis Monica, the VP, Madam VP of our Cullen Only Cafe. Just because a big shout out, because she is having a time, and when I say having a time with trying to make people understand, not even help, but make people understand that the work of representing a marginalized community absolutely deserves to be compensated. I don't know why, and I'm telling you, no matter what community I've lived in, I don't know why that is such a hard conversation, or something so hard for people to wrap their heads around. And I remember telling her so clearly when I worked, when I was a part of a cohort in Miami for Catalyst Miami. I remember our workshop leaders saying, people want to help who you help, but they don't want to help you. And I can't unsee this. I can't unhear this. And it upsets me even to think about it, but it's even more upsetting because it's so true. They do. They want to know who you're helping. They want to make sure that you're taking this money and you're helping who you're helping, but you ain't helping yourself. You ain't helping yourself. And that's why no matter what, now, do I believe that, yes, there are some things that go hand in hand with I won't say poor follow-up, but there are some things that I think professionally are off with Dr. Umar Johnson. One of the things I will never complain about when it comes to him is when I was booking a date for him in Miami, he said, "Sister, take what you need off top. Take what you need. Just, give me what just give me something so I can maneuver, but take what you need off top." And I said, no, I'm going to give you the whole thing. He was just like, no, don't do that. Pay whatever you need to pay. I still did not, because he just didn't realize it, but who I was representing, they had already given me what I needed to make sure, my bills were straight. But I do appreciate that he said that, because in about a decade's worth, maybe about 12 years worth of me doing booking for people, artists don't say that. Artists do not say that. You better send them their money first. They don't say you take your 10% off top. As long as they're getting what they are getting, then they're getting that. They're not even asking you if you even got it. Some artists didn't even care that you weren't making anything from that date. So I would raise a glass, but I drank all my lemonade to
I got some ice left.
Dr. Umar. Thank you for that. So, like I said, even though the date did not come to fruition the way that, or it did not pan out, no pun intended, Pan-Africanism, it did not pan out the way it was supposed to. And though I may have some feelings about his professionalism, one of the things I will never complain about is that particular fact that, first of all, it takes a lot more money than what people may think. Is a lot more heavy lift than what people may think to be able to purchase buildings, okay, and to be able to get deeds on anything. You know, it blows my mind that in this day and time, people think that they can give $5 but demand to see what happened with 5 million. Sit down somewhere, okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Big facts.
Big facts. Big facts. And a big shout out to once again Fox. We have our own Fox here in Athens. Yeah. She made an awesome contribution to our pantry, and she just keeps it coming. I tell you, there have been a couple of days where literally that pantry was kept alive by her contributions alone. So big shout out to Athens Fox. Thank you. So let's do this. Let's do this conversation. Let's do this.
Okay.
Okay.
So this topic came about because of who's that guy's name? The preacher dude.
Donnie Swagger.
Donnie Swagger.
Yes.
Big DS. I put a whole thing.
Swagger.
Grab me by the neck. Yeah. That was a song break.
I threw it up.
Okay, don't. All right.
I threw it up.
Okay. So, Donnie Swagger, he criticized the black church, and I ain't gonna hold you. What he said, he was absolutely right. Or I felt as though he was right.
Okay.
I agreed with absolutely everything he said.
Yeah.
Straight down the line.
Yeah.
However, he can't say that. Now let me tell you what he said, in case anyone doesn't know. See, we got to get these videos.
We do.
We got to work.
We're working on it, though. We're working on it, y'all.
We're working on it.
A whole new platform.
We're working on it.
Yeah.
What he said was it's about backing the Democratic Party no matter what, basically.
Mm-hmm.
The abortion thing, the LGBTQ
community. Yeah.
The Rainbow Gang. All those things. He spoke.
Wait, do you think that was the gang that Will Smith was talking about?
It could have been.
Gang.
Gang. Turn around, they gonna take a toast to me. I mean, it was a hard line though.
The gang would take a toast to him. That gang would take a toast to him.
Like,
that gang would. Come on.
But I'm just saying, like, it was a hard line though. But
well,
it's Will.
I took because my coaster is gone.
Without the gang stuff rolling around with him, it's still Will. Like, dude, you the parents don't understand guy. And
there's nothing wrong with that.
I
never thought there was nothing wrong
but you
with
the
that.
summertime guy. You're not the pulling up with gang.
That's still gang. That's still your gang.
Come on, I think I could beat Mike Tyson.
I think that's still
he's
your
the jokey guy.
That's still your gang.
He's the smile guy. He's the guy who's scared to death of Puck.
Go for it with your.
Anyway, so he said all these things, how wrong they are, yada 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 yada. Like I said, me personally, I kind of agree with him. He was absolutely right and he hit it on all the chords. But like I said, however, he cannot say that, and he can't say it because if your church or your ministries, not your church, but your ministries were a little more inclusive or welcoming, that's a better word, welcoming, and didn't have the history that they never seem to acknowledge, then you could comment on that. But if all these things would actually have taken place, as far as like, you know, them being more welcoming, acknowledging, you know, their role in slavery, they're acknowledging their role in massacring, like in genocide, basically, because no conqueror ever came over, or no priest didn't come over without an army. When these priests got on those boats and they came over to North America, when these priests got on those boats and went down to South America, when these priests got on them boats and went over into Africa, they went with armies.
Come on.
And they ain't talking about an army of crosses. No, they went in the army of Bibles. No, they went with armies, swords and shields. So, you know, acknowledge these things.
My sword.
If these things was acknowledged, then there would be no black church for you to criticize. They would just be the church. So this is why he cannot say that. Even though he is absolutely correct. But it's a glass house thing. It's, you know, clean up your backyard before you start talking about my backyard. You know? And that's how this topic came about. You know, as far as black church, white church, and why there isn't just one church. Why there isn't just kingdom, where there's white kingdom, black kingdom. There's a lot of you know, how you say, undertone, we
underlying.
There you go.
Yeah.
This is why I love that big brain. That thing be like, be working. You know?
But you don't be letting this big brain work all the time.
You know, other things work.
Yes. Exactly. Thank you.
But yeah, it's the equivalent of me saying, "Hey, Courtney, you didn't wash your dish last night," and I had a whole pot that I used in the plate and 7 cups that I got in the sink.
Okay, no, it's the equivalent of the scripture that says, you know, you can't tell your brother to get something out of his eye when you have a plank in your own.
That one.
Yes, yeah. So, Naima, need you on the ones and twos looking that up, that scripture up. But so here's my take on this, because I'm going to try to be as diplomatic as I can, because I know that that's the right thing to be, and I know that that's the kingdom way to be. But I'm just going to talk, and these are not new conversations. If you have followed my channel, if you have followed my journey, you know, especially when I was still in Miami, you know that I have mentioned, you know, a church that I was a member of that I love, and I absolutely felt like that church loved me well as well. But as well as they loved me and as much as I loved them, my children were never at no play dates. They were never invited to any play dates. I knew plenty of families that would get together after church, and they would go for dinner, or they would go to each other's houses and have dinner. I was invited to do that on maybe 2 occasions, but it was literally when we were still living outside of Coconut Grove. And it was kind of, I believe it was done because if, you know, we had gotten our own way to church, a family that was taking us, you know, back to our home, they couldn't say that it would have been too much work to drop us back at where we were living, which was outside of the Grove, and then go to dinner with these other families in the Grove. You understand? So it was more of convenience. And you know, I knew that. And whether it was true or not, that it was more so out of convenience, the fact still does remain that when we moved back to the Grove, there was no more inviting out. So even if it wasn't out of convenience, but it was out of pity, because, you know, at this point in time, we were living, sometimes we were living in a hotel. Sometimes we were living we had an apartment that was on the other side of town. So it just depended. But this was before we had moved back into Coconut Grove. So those two occasions they happened there, but I was a member. We were members of that church for 4 years, and now 4 years, only 2 of those times happened, and 2 of those times that it did happen was when we were living outside of Coconut Grove. You can kind of do the math there. You know, the math does math. But like I said, I cannot deny that when I was on dire straits, that church was there for me financially. When some things happened in regards with my family, that church, you know, came, they prayed with me, they prayed with us. They, you know, that church was there. That church was there. But when it came to certain things, that church was like, as well. And so we were members there for 4 years. For the first, I want to say about 3 years, we were the only Black family that was there. It was just me and, you know, my 2 children. And we were the only Black family that was consistently coming. And I remember one time, I was telling you about that, babe, when the other Nigerians? No, the Haitians. When the Haitians came, it was over, y'all. Yeah, they wiped us out. No, I was telling you about the time when I saw the other girl, the lady from Coconut Grove, and like 2 of her kids went to the same school, and I was asking her, she's like, yeah. No. Don't be trying to still put it there. I was asking her because, you know, we ended up, so, you know, of course, church is on Sunday. And so on Sunday was the day that the pool, interestingly enough, on the weekend was open the longest. So, and Coconut Grove had a beautiful pool. Shout out to Armbristol Park. Love that pool. And I know that you guys were working very hard on getting that aquaplex built there. I don't know if that ever happened, but
it's the boy.
I know that. He already said that. I already said hey to him. But so we ended up being at the pool literally the same day. Like earlier that morning, we were at the church together, and then saw her at the pool later on that day. Well, her kids were swimming. She wasn't swimming. But I said, hey, how did you, you know, like, you know, the service today? And she was like, and I was like, and I'm looking at her like, you know, well, I've been there for a couple of years. Like, it's really nice. And she was just like, you know, like, I'm not like, and I, you know, of course she didn't come back. Well, I was there. I don't know if they ever returned afterwards, but, you know, it was like she couldn't even voice it, but it was just like, nah, I'm not going to be, you know, going. But that confused me because her son, you know, played football, and they were often needing, you know, support financially to help, and I was just like, you know, here I was with a little youth program, y'all. I'm talking about 15, maybe 20 kids. And that church was always supportive, you know, whenever we needed to use the church building for something, you know, we were able to use the church building. When movies came out, they would sponsor, you know, we rented out theaters for my group. So, you know, I'm just like, girl, like it has its benefits. It has its perks, you know? So I'm just like, well, they're really nice. And they're supportive. Yeah.
Did you feel at any point that you was kind of like, I don't want to say selling or trading your salvation for financial support, but like, you know, because okay, so like what spot was what church that's like, yeah, I'm super uncomfortable here. What was
that you were?
Yeah,
that was the church that we said we was that we volunteered at. That's what we got invited to on this Sunday. You said you were super uncomfortable there. Are you talking about West Ebenezer? Because that was
West Ebenezer. That was something totally different. They was tripping it in. There was a lot going on that joint. I wasn't uncomfortable. I was just like, wait, is this loud? Like,
I think it was still uncomfortable. I mean, it was still on the level of
burst in the flames.
It was just like it just seemed like it was a very.
I remember choosing just like, yeah,
I believe it was the one that we volunteered at, because I was like, because that church reminded me of of PRC. And that's why I said the moment that we walked in, I was like, oh my gosh, PRC vibes. Like I love those type of vibes. Like I remember that. I never felt like I was trading my salvation only because like when I tell you they were sound on that, they were sound on that they were sound on those principles. They were sound on that doctrine.
Was this was the church where the chick left her husband and they cut off?
So they told her, you ain't gonna be coming up in here. You ain't gonna be coming up in here. And let me tell you, these guys, when I say, because it's 3 pastors, and they are not like, you know, they're not like no meathead kind of macho. They don't come off like that at all, but they know that word. That word is that sword, and they say what they mean and they mean what they say, and they live and die by the principles, by the book. And that's what I loved. And I got to be honest, that was something that I didn't see. And I attend a lot. You know how I love churches. I attended a lot of churches, but when it was time to become a member, listen. They said out the mouth of babes, my kids, they were like, you know, when are we going back to that pirate church? That's what they called it, because the
pirate church,
because for their vacation Bible school, it was a pirate theme, and so they would call it the pirate church. Yeah, they would call it the pirate church, and so they thought that was funny too. And I was just like, well, you know, the kids said they wanted to come to the pirate church, and so literally that's what we were for the next 4 years. And my daughter did Creed camp, and you know, they came in at the farmers market. They came and ran parking for the farmers market, so you know she could earn some extra money so that she could get the scholarship to go. Oh, Naima got it. Matthew 7:3-5. Come on, let's get in that word. It's Bible study tonight, y'all. What y'all thought this was? We serious over here. So you know, that church, that I felt like I grew in that church. I felt like not only did I grow as a disciple, but they taught, it was sound doctrine. Like I said, I never had to worry about, you know, them saying something that, you know, made me kind of, never did. Pastor Jose bought that word. Jesse was like their community outreach person, and he brought that word, you know, beautiful. And when I tell you that those brothers would sit with me, I'm talking about church would be starting, and they, you know, if because that's why I say they had 3. So if it was one of them, they would go on and do the sermon, but another one would sit with me, talk with me, you know, listen. You know, I'm crying, I'm bawling, I can't even see. And they're there. I didn't get that type of love from the other churches. You know, I didn't, you know. I told you a couple of churches tried to case me up. One of the ones was listening to Keon talking about something. I ain't buy him no shoes. And he was talking about something, your son said you ain't buy him no shoes. And I said, who? What? He said you don't love him because you didn't buy him no shoes. And I said, and so when we got home, I said, Kim, you see that he done got you talking to him about me, but you still ain't got no new shoes. You know, so it was that type of energy. Like they would have just something that just so they could have something on you, but then they still weren't gonna do nothing about it, you know. And there was this one particular church, man, there was so much money flowing through that church, and it was a, you know, it was a, you know, what you would say is a Black church. It was so much money flowing through that church, and I'm telling you, I saw them bend over backwards. I mean, almost somersault for this one particular woman. Now, granted, she had about 12 kids, so you know they did a lot of. They would be taking these kids to school. They enrolled a couple of them in private schools and I'm saying I couldn't get them to buy me a butter bread if I wanted, you know, and I just felt like. They felt like they were doing more because she needed more, but here I am, I'm still over here, you know, and there's some needs that I have, you know, but it was just like it was a hard road to toe when it came to Black churches for me. That's my experience. Like I said, I always tell people all the time, you know, your own experiences dictate your own, perception, right? But for me personally, that I just found that a couple of things were at play here with the church that I was a proud member of in Miami, Florida. They had the resources. I can't say it no clearer than that. They had them, so it wasn't a feeling as though, okay, we got to have a fish fry. Like they did stuff like that. Like they did their fundraisers and things like that, but you never had a feeling that they had to pass that plate because it was the lights were gone. You had to keep the church working. Yeah.
I have a question. Okay, yeah. So even with they had resources,
they had the resources.
They doing all the stuff that
they did. They had them.
But what was their doctrine like?
Oh, it was sound. When I tell you it was sound, it was sound.
No, I'm not talking about the PRs. You're talking about the black churches.
Oh, the black churches.
Yeah.
Well, what you mean what their doctrine was like?
How they was coming with the word.
It depended. Like some churches, like I said, the church that really had a lot of money flowing through them, I enjoyed the sermons. Their doctrine was sound. But when it came to the practicing, like there were a couple of times where, I'm just very observant of stuff like this, and this may not mean nothing to nobody else, but I'm just still going to share it because, like I said, this is my experience. When you see a first lady come and bring breakfast sandwiches for her family, you notice stuff like that, and that don't feel good. It doesn't. So that's why, like, even I think all little things that I've observed in that point in time brings me to what we do now with this food ministry. Because I tell you, plenty of people have told me, Courtney, you should charge this or that. You should charge this or that. And I'm like, that I don't want to do that because I want to show that it don't have to be done that way. Food is love. And I think that is the main way that you show someone that you don't love them. You don't care about them and you won't feed them. And so that was something that I would notice that it would be Sunday school, and she would go and pick up sandwiches she had daughters, and those daughters were grown, beautiful girls, but they were grown girls. Everybody's driving a Mercedes. They could drive their truck up the street too. But she would go and she would leave and go and pick up breakfast sandwiches for her girls, and they would be around there eating the, breakfast sandwiches. So, I remember 2 of those times. I listen, we was late to church because I said, well, I'm gonna take my kids to go get something to eat, because I don't know how my kids up here watching these girls get fed. So I'm gonna go and take my kids to something to eat. So, I round my babies up and we went on and they got their little eggs and cheese sandwiches and, sit down and eat them. Cause I don't want to be what I say I don't like. I'm not going to have them bringing in back 2 sandwiches, eating amongst them. So we ate there. And then, we came a little late to church a couple of those times. That's what we did. But so doctrine was there, but I watched how they engaged. Doctrine. They weren't following doctrine. The doctrine was sound, but they weren't following doctrine. They weren't engaging. And also, too, they were living very scared, too. I won't say they. But the wife was, she worked at the electoral board and the board of elections rather. And when so you could go and print out voter logs. So when I went to go print out a voter log, she made sure that somebody else helped me out just because she was like, she didn't want it to be no conflict of interest. And I was like, okay, I could see that. That's cool. But after the election was over, she was acting like she couldn't even talk to me about the election. And I'm just like, well, the election is over now. Like I wasn't asking her I wasn't asking her anything that I was, I wasn't asking her anything incriminating. I was just saying what the next time, could there be a way I could get people that just voted a certain way on a certain position? And she was like, I don't want to be, I don't want you to think that I'm being difficult or anything, but I don't feel comfortable telling you that. This is a yes or no question. It was just odd. And I just felt like it was almost, and I hate to use this phrase because I'm accused of doing this from time to time, but I feel like you're doing too much. For what? Like it's a yes or no question. It's not a, I don't feel comfortable telling you this. Like, what? It was a little
How
extra.
you telling you what that who voted which way?
Yeah.
Or how many voted?
Yeah.
I mean, is it talking strictly the numbers? Like the
yeah, like
question?
I wasn't asking people.
So it's just
it would be too
maybe she
big.
misunderstood the question.
I don't know. Like this was, I don't know, but I know that
because that like the numbers is pretty much public record. Like as far as like 42% voted yes. And,
not that quickly though, because it was right after the election.
Oh, you wanted she might not have had it.
No, it wasn't. She didn't even say that. She said she didn't feel comfortable telling me. So it wasn't about it wasn't about the hey, I don't have that wasn't the conversation. She said she didn't feel comfortable telling me, and it felt to me as though
off topic.
She was more. No, we're still talking about the Black church because this is the Black church experience. But the question is, does a Black church and white church exist? So I think
it definitely does.
It definitely does. Yeah.
Just like with everything else, there's white stores. But see,
the show would have been 2 minutes. We would have been like, all right, good night. That's the answer. That does it.
There's white stores, black stores. There's
white stores and black stores.
Absolutely.
What white stores are there?
For a long time, Macy's was a white store in New York.
I never felt that way.
New York and the Bronx.
But see, that's New York. So I guess it's just places are. I've never felt like Macy's was a white store.
It's definitely white stores. You go like I told you before, Brooklyn is the most segregated borough.
That's where Michael Jordan was born.
Well, okay.
Brooklyn. Yeah.
He
was born in a hospital.
Huh?
He was born in a hospital.
Okay.
In Brooklyn.
I would hope so.
Yeah. Why? Where else would somebody be born?
Could have been born in a ditch.
Okay. Where were you born in? Where were you born?
In a medical facility.
A medical what?
Facility.
Yeah. Interesting.
But yeah, there's definitely white stores, black stores. You open them in Brooklyn. Them Jew hoods. You see no black faces in them stores. Unless he's sweeping up.
Okay. All right. So you're saying, with that being said, but we're talking about in this day and time. It's in this day and time, there's still white stores and black stores.
Absolutely.
Still in Brooklyn? It's
absolutely
segregated?
Absolutely. Go down to Howard Beach.
I don't know.
All right, Howard Beach. Howard Beach is that's where they bring that boy into the highway.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. You're talking about the big
Yusuf
thing
Burgess,
Yusuf. Wait, was it Yusuf or was that the boy's name from the Central Park Five? His name was Yusuf also.
No, Yusuf Burgess was when they ran to the highway.
Mm-hmm.
Beat that girl. Yes, Howard Beach. We ain't up in there.
Mm-hmm. So I'm saying, I know that when that happened, that was like 30 years ago, but now it's still the same way.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Still, like these are neighborhoods that's like even Little Odessa.
Mm.
Yeah, like that's where the Russian boys is at.
See,
these spots are segregated.
I guess
Brooklyn's the most segregated borough in that city.
These are like conversations where I like. And like I said, people forgive me, my experiences are my experiences. But we have to appreciate that we're not a monolith, right? So I didn't grow up in New York. I grew up in Daytona Beach, and I didn't realize, rather, not that I didn't know, I did not realize that there weren't a lot of white people at my church, but there was. A good number. So that's why I didn't really realize, because my church was Episcopalian. And so we had a white reverend, and their family were members. And so
question.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen a black pastor at a white church, even as a guest speaker?
Yes.
As a guest speaker or as a pastor?
As a guest speaker.
Just the guest speaker.
Yeah.
Not the lead head guy.
No.
Have you ever seen one in leadership there?
Yes. Several. You talking about in my church? In
White church
Miami?
period?
Yeah, several.
All right, so that's the
PRC was my church.
Okay.
Yeah.
So PRC, that they was pretty much white congregation.
Yeah,
But
pretty
they did
white and
have-
Latino. Yeah, but they would have guests. Yeah. They would have guests. And once the Haitian family joined, I think they just had to, by sheer numbers. That's why I say to y'all, numbers have it, because before that family joined, like I said, it was just my family, but when that family joined, the father of that family, he was speaking. I was like, what? It's a new day. He started speaking, and then there was just, you could tell that the energy was a little, it was more diversely opened. And I will say this too, they joined literally right before everything happened with George Floyd. So it opened up, I think, the halls for that, to welcome that type of conversation or diversification. So a term that I've kind of come up with that I think speaks volumes to this particular topic is invitation by congregation. And it just goes to show that if you go into a church and their congregation looks, a certain way, it provides an invitation, or it shows, hey, this is what we have over here. There have been a couple of churches like that recently that we have gone into, and because of the fact that they did not have a strong presence of Black people, it did not feel like, okay, this would be this will be a place where I can call home. And I don't think that enough churches consider what that may feel like to Black people. I remember one particular instance, actually, at that same church that I was a member of in Miami. One of the pastors, like I said, pastor that would sit with me till I bawl my eyes out. That's the same pastor that drops off checks like he's the mailman. Okay, drop them off. He asked me, actually, he said, this is what I've always loved about that church, is that they at least, they cared enough to ask instead of just assuming, which I feel like a lot of churches just assume that they know. And there's nothing that can be more insulting than that. But one time somebody had come, and she was a Black woman, and he was reading a comment card actually to me. And the comment card said that she had come early before the church service started just to kind of get a feel of the congregation. And she noticed that nobody approached her, and nobody said anything to her. Nobody greeted her, rather. So she said because of the fact that she wasn't engaged with prior to service, she didn't feel invited to stay for service. So she didn't. But she said she did drop something in the donation box, and that was that. And she left the comment card. So he said, did you feel welcome the first time you came? And I told him honestly, I said, to be quite honest, it wasn't a matter of me feeling welcome, because the first time I came, it was the VBS. Like, as long as my kids were engaged and happy and they were fed, I wasn't looking for nobody to be greeting me. I was like, great, these kids got dinner, cool. I got to cook. This is awesome. I wasn't even, like I told him, to be honest, I wasn't even, that, kind of in tune with what even the message was. The kids had a great time. They had a great time. They were fed. Boom, great. We went home. Then when we moved back to the Grove, they said, are we going to that pirate church? And I was like, oh, well, okay, we'll go and look at a pirate church. But we went when, like I said, service was already in play. Smiling faces. When it comes to greeters, like imagine a church full of Chick-fil-A. And Chick-fil-A does have a church, actually, y'all. It's a church on their college campus, where people go to their Chick-fil-A university, where they go to learn how to be Chick-fil-A franchise owners. They do have a church there. They have a sanctuary. So, but it was like that. It was the best customer service you could ever know. And I did share my experience, but like I said, I have to be very honest. My experience was my experience, and I knew a couple of faces, because of the kids going to VBS. I can't put myself in this woman's shoes. She said she was an older woman. She was, in her 50s. And she said she wasn't greeted. I can't think that somebody saw her and thought, okay, I know her, and they gave her the same familiarity, the same smiles, the same. I can't sit up here and say that there's no way that no one did that for her. I can't discount her experience, because again, our experiences are our experiences. So,
you know what?
Me personally, I've never been turned off.
I don't know, since Miss Courtney over here, Courtney Omega.
Courtney Omega Dolls.
Omega Dolls.
I'm boss.
I've probably been to more churches in the last year than I have in my entire life combined.
I love church, y'all. I love me some church. Shit.
And I'm gonna say this. With the Athens church scene.
Yeah.
I've always been greeted.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like we'll be sitting there and somebody before, after, during, whatever, well, not so much during, but before and after.
Come on, David. You better say this, David. David said there's only
absolutely.
one bride. The word is clear that the Lord
Absolutely.
will separate the wheat from the tares. Biblical truth is the same forever. Same.
Yeah.
David, you better say this. David, come on.
Now, I'm gonna finish what I'm saying, and then
we gonna come with it, David. Thank you so much for that comment, brother.
But I've always been greeted.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been and I'm trying to remember. See, I know when we went to Cornerstone, they had already started.
Yeah, they had, and they were playing The Blessing. So y'all, when I walked in there, I was like, I'm home, baby. That was, and then
I wasn't feeling it.
Be upon you and upon.
Okay,
ooh,
all right, that wasn't a song break.
That was a song break.
It definitely wasn't.
Yes.
But,
Amen. 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 Ooh. Don't let me get up. Okay, I'll get up. Okay, now I won't. Go ahead.
Anyway, like even at Cornerstone, like I wasn't really feeling Cornerstone. It just felt like a rock concert.
He did say that, and I was like, "It's great, great."
You got
awesome.
People in the front. They on IG or TikTok or whatever they doing.
They were.
It was bananas.
It was. But I loved it. And what do I say all the time about the Cornerstone though? That's the only pastor that ever invited us
to the house,
to his house.
So, but I'm gonna say this though, even with all of that,
and the reason why we did not go is because we was trying to get up our money. We were hoteling at that point in time. But everyone says, that it's quite an experience. They say he has a beautiful home, and but
it might be something we could probably revisit.
Today, that's the only pastor that invited us to his home.
Even with that, right? They were still, hey, how you doing? When you start this,
Yeah,
there was
there was engagement. Yeah,
right,
absolutely.
And then this is with every church that we've been in, even the one over on with Pastor Ford.
Yeah, New Freedom,
and it's like 8 people there.
And we were invited in to the church, but somebody didn't even go to the church.
She was going to Bible study.
Come on in here.
And they was their congregation is really small.
Yeah,
but very welcoming. And
very welcoming.
we got invited. Was that Easter dinner?
That was Easter Sunday. Yeah.
It was Easter Sunday.
Yeah.
They said, hey, listen.
Resurrection Sunday.
They, at the time we was told Hotel Hopkins, listen, come on out to the crib, egg hunt, this, da. The boy kind of won that. Came home with the gold.
He did.
Came home with the gold.
Literally.
Golden
egg with money in it and all.
I'm saying to say this, either black or white.
We've been engaged.
We've been engaged, and we have somewhat kind of felt welcomed.
Yeah.
To a certain extent or whatever.
Yeah.
I can't remember what church. I was like, yo, I'm super uncomfortable here.
I'm telling you, that was a cornerstone.
You sure?
I'm positive. Because who else would it be? Wasn't Pastor Ortiz?
Nah, and that's crazy too, because they all 100 years old.
They are. They're 100.
But you know what?
I think that's the average age.
Super, super sweet.
They were super nice. Super sweet, super nice. And another thing too, it's called the Bridge now, I believe.
Yeah.
But oftentimes than not, there was food. There was food. Yeah. That's something that y'all growing up, that used to be a staple in churches, that they fed you. Like there was some food to look forward to after. And I remember for a good decade, I want to say it was coincidentally when these churches started to become these nonprofits, these 501(c)(3)s, the food disappeared. Is there something in it to say that y'all can't do nothing with no food? Because if that's the case, we're the wrong ministry going into a 501(c)(3) because that's what we do. We do food. So I don't know, but food disappeared. It really dried up. I remember, because for all the years that I was in Philadelphia, I didn't go to church. Well, actually, I did. I did the last 2 years. But there was no food. And I remember one time the pastor was talking about letting us. He was going to hurry up and get done so we could go home and make our Sunday dinner. And I was like, "What? Where are we? This used to be, hey, I'm gonna hurry and get done because hey, we can smell that good food and everybody want to go eat. And Sister Smith been working on this food and that's one thing that I love about Mount Olive here. They get that part right too. Yeah. Even if it is only once a month, they will feed you. And also that is where the food ministry, that's where we connected to the food ministry from. So that has been something that has surprised me with a lot of churches now, that there's not that, because there's something to be said about the gathering and the eating and breaking bread with one another. There's something to be said about that. And it does provide. It
invites fellowship though.
It invites fellowship
in other areas.
And it provides an opportunity to engage. Yeah. We're not just watching a pastor, because I want to be very clear. If that pastor is not like fire, I'm in my Bible the whole time. I'm just searching up other scriptures. I'm writing in my journal. I'm not engaging with the word.
I'm probably falling asleep.
And so when we sit down and have fellowship over a meal, that is the prime time to actually sit and talk to and meet people and just enjoy one another. Fellowship is a big thing for me when it comes to the body of Christ, y'all. It's fellowship. If I can't break bread with this person, how am I really gonna pray with this person? How am I gonna trust this person to pray for me? And I can't, and I don't know who this person is.
It's funny you see that.
Very much not kingdom.
Because wait, first put David back.
Oh, his back on.
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
So your breaking bread thing, like on the inside, that was a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like if we ate together, we was crew.
Yeah.
We was gang.
Well, see, that's why I was saying I was so surprised, because we had a little eating together today, and I was giving husband a little culinary history about mumbo sauce and the whole nine. And so I said, all those years you never broke bread with nobody from Washington? And he said never. I said 21 years and never.
You gotta remember. Okay, that's so crazy. First of all, I was in Jersey. That's number one. Yeah. 30 Jersey.
Yeah.
you know, DC boys, man, unless you know, they got the feds locked down. They sold, you know, they got the pop in the Fed joints because they don't have a county or they don't have a state prison.
Mm-hmm.
So they all go to the feds.
Uh-huh.
There was only, I want to say, around across maybe 2, maybe 3 dudes from DC. But you know, we was all right with no beef or nothing. We just wouldn't break bread together.
Right.
You know, see, that's all that was.
But that's what I'm saying. Like the breaking of the bread does bring on, yeah, it brings on a different relationship.
I want to comment on the brother comment on his comment.
Yeah.
So look, it's easy to read those words, right? But it's a totally different thing when those words have to be lived.
Yeah.
So I seen a video. I don't remember where. I don't remember who. But he said that when Jesus come back, he's gonna walk right past the churches. He's going to the corners. And people sleeping in them boxes. And people sleeping in them bridges. Because those is his people. He's the people in the churches with the fancy clothes, the big expensive cars, and living the high life. And they didn't forgot the scripture. They didn't forgot how to give back. They didn't forgot that you treat the best of us. You treat the worst of us how you would treat the best of us.
Yeah. So
they forgot these things. And he's gonna walk right past, and those are the people he's gonna get. So yeah, we can say that and not live it. And this is what's happening with these churches. We can say, you know, the pastor, preacher, minister, whatever, stand on that pulpit and say, hey, you know, we love everybody, we this, we that.
Yeah.
But you staring out into a sea of black faces, or you staring out into a sea of white faces. And clearly, there is a huge separation, a huge segregation of these churches.
Absolutely. And that's concerning to me when I know for a fact that nobody in either of these churches, they question that. They question that. But I'm going to tell you honestly, I know for a fact also it gets questioned more in the black church than it does in the white. I think that, and I don't want to belabor this too much longer because again, it's still a school night and there's still some things to be done. But I think that there is a cognitive dissonance that is a culture in white churches when it comes to the racial implications. All right. And there is a cognitive dissonance when it comes to the moral implications in the black church. That's just the way I see it, y'all. And I'm, like I say, I am a being that has experienced a lot of both. I've experienced a lot of both. A lot of white churches, a lot of black churches. And it's just like, I've been to some white churches and it's just, it's almost insulting when you say to them, there's not a lot of black people here. There's no black people here. Oh, what do you mean? What I said? That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like, why? Like, what is that? What is that? And they don't know how to answer because they can't answer like they don't care. But that is the bottom line. They probably don't. I think just like how we started this conversation, we were talking about the family tree conversation, right? I never cared to ask, all of these background questions about my grandparents' parents. Like I heard a lot of stories, but I did not, into my adult life, I'm just trying to make it for my next generation, for my children and, my siblings. And I'm looking at my mom and dad and grandparents, so they're all going on, but that's kind of where the white church is, I believe, in the same vein. That, hey, we're just looking around and this is who family is. This is who we break bread with. This is who. So there's not a real capacity and not a real interest, if I dare say, in going beyond here to engage. Now when people come in, yay, that's great. But I don't know you like I know her. We grew up together. I don't know you like I know him. That's my dad's, that was my dad's business partner for 20, 30 years. There's not that type of history. So there's not that type of interest when it comes to the other. When the black church and the lack of moral discipline and acknowledgement, and it is something that to me is sad to see, because I've literally witnessed this in black churches. I've witnessed, women, and mostly women. I can't even say men, but women that have worked in upper administration, that they knew were carrying on very, very sinful lives, and this person felt no obligation to stop, would laugh about things that she was doing. And they think, well, I guess that doesn't have anything to do with her counting money or answering calls, that has nothing to do with it. The fact that she's sleeping with multiple men that she's not married to, that has nothing to do with it. As long as she is doing her job in the church, which is, again, answering phones and, counting tithe money. So it's again, a cognitive dissonance and a willful ignorance of moral lack when it comes to black churches. And also, too, let's not forget, a lot of black churches are run wild with those sororities and fraternities. That is something that is very prevalent in black churches, and that ain't nothing but a sanctified cult. And this is not only welcomed, but it is invited in a lot of black churches. They have certain sorority and fraternity days that they're telling you to bring your sorors, bring your frat bros. So
sorors.
Yeah, sorors are sorority sisters.
Oh,
yeah. So is that a problem that is a white church and a black church? Absolutely. Because as we said at the top of the hour, as you said, that's not kingdom, because in the kingdom there's many. And as it says in Matthew also, Matthew 28:19. I got that one, Naima. I don't need her on that one. But it says, go forward and make a disciple of all nations. It didn't say just the nations that look like you. And even when we talk about Genesis, y'all, where the rainbow promise came from, God said to all people, not his people, all people. So Naima asked, what makes a good church? I'm gonna answer first, and I'm gonna let you close that out, and then we are going to close out with that scripture that Naima looked up for us before we say good night. Good nighty night. This was a good one, though. Y'all were awesome. Okay, and we have to pick, so we'll close out with that. So, what makes a good church? On you first, babe.
I think it depends on the person.
So I said to you.
For me,
yeah, to you.
It was being taught and not being preached to. So, if all you're going to do is, basically hit me in the head with the Bible and not explain and not give me an opportunity to ask questions without giving me a side eye, like, why are you questioning it? Because then I'm going to get defensive and like, it's my job to question everything that come out of your raggedy mouth, and then it's going to turn into something else. So give me that opportunity to ask these questions, answer my questions, and teach me. instead of just preaching to me, because I'll be more open to the preaching if you teach. So that's what makes a good church to me. And keep your word. That we had this one church, man, and I liked this church. I did. I liked the people in it.
Yeah.
And still keep in contact with. I actually just spoke to one of them yesterday.
Yeah, we did. He's a member of our board.
Yeah,
our committee. Yeah.
But I met the pastor, and he said, "Listen, give me a call. Come on down to church, come to the office. We gonna talk, whatever." I said, "All right, cool." Went to go set up the appointment, and I got passed off to one of his little minions.
Not just one, but two.
You looked me in my eyes, and you shook my hand.
Yeah.
And then I got passed off to one of your minions. So from there, it's like, okay, you're not even a man of your word, so nothing you say, I'm gonna take in, because as far as I'm concerned, you're a liar. So it was like an automatic turn off. I don't even think we went back after that.
We went back one more time.
We went back one more time.
One more time, yeah, one more time.
Yeah, but it's like I said.
We didn't go back after that time. We sat in that parking lot and counted all those. Because we didn't.
Oh yeah.
We sat in the parking lot, and I don't even know why we were just taking a little longer that morning. But we just started counting all of the luxury vehicles that pulled up in.
Lexus,
Porsches.
Porsche,
Yeah.
like
Porsche
and I'm
truck.
sitting like, hold up.
Yeah. But they're telling us
hotel hopping
and car breaking down.
I was supposed to get baptized.
On your
Easter,
birthday
on Easter
Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah. It was resurrection, but it was the Sunday after your birthday.
Right. I was supposed to get baptized.
Yeah.
And we spent the night in the parking lot of a Quick Trip on Lexington Avenue. Or Lexington Road. I'm sorry. Lexington Avenue. I'm back up top. On Lexington Road.
Yeah.
And that morning, they called.
They did.
Confirm
that we were coming. Not even asking us what we slept at that night.
Explaining like, we have a car truck. We parked up in.
Yeah.
Not once she offered to help.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we can reschedule.
We'll reschedule. We'll tell the pastor.
Baptism.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was done.
Yeah, we haven't been back since then.
I was done.
We haven't been back since then. Yeah.
But everybody in that church knew our situation too. So it's not like, we were
but everybody who needed to know.
Right.
Did. Yeah. Everybody who needed to know did. Okay. So my answer to what's a good church, in my opinion, definitely is the fellowship, and it's the sound doctrine. I mean, even if that doctrine is going to tell me I'm wrong, then tell me I'm wrong. But don't sit up here and coddle me, because they'll coddle you right to hell. They will coddle you right to hell. I don't care about being right when it comes to the word. I care about being, I don't care about being right when it comes to my salvation. I need to know if I don't care about being in control when it comes to that. And so I need it done gracefully, like most people, but I definitely need it done. And I just feel like there's a real lack of even wanting to do that. If I feel like there's a lack of wanting to do that, not just for myself, but for others, then I'm not interested. We need to be like the Bereans and measure everything against the word. That's it. I love that. So 2 scriptures come to mind before we get into our questions. Oh no, let's do the questions first, and then we'll close out with the scriptures. Yes. It says, what's something that you believed about marriage that you don't anymore? Wow. So I don't know if y'all can see that right. Yeah, that's good. Ooh, that's good. You were supposed to be happy every day. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. But somebody very wise once told me that happiness is a choice. And every day that I know that that's true. You know, you choose whether you're gonna be mad about this, gonna be petty about it. And I ain't gonna lie, you know, God forgive me, but some days I do decide I'm gonna be mad about this. I ain't gonna do that. I don't like it. I don't like how that made me feel. I don't like something that he said, and I'm going to be mad about it. But I ain't gonna lie, it do be a choice. But I tell you, I have when we had Brother Dominic Morrow on our show, and we've had a couple of conversations with him since then, and we still trying to get him out here, y'all. So if y'all want Brother Dominic Morrow to come on down to Athens, Georgia, y'all let Brother Dominic Morrow know. Y'all want to see him in the ministry with no walls, so we can have him. We can host him and love on him well, because things that he has said and imparted, it still moves. And one of the things that he always talked about is unforgiveness. How unforgiveness will absolutely decay your heart, and it will rob you of years. It will rob you of moments. It will rob you of memories. And, God is not a respecter of persons. Like, you're not going to be able to justify, well, I didn't forgive him, because, you're not going to be able to justify that to God. You're not going to be able to plead your way out with that. So, I definitely did believe that marriage, you're supposed to be happy every day. I used to say it's not supposed to feel like work. But now I believe that it is supposed to be work. So it has to be something that I feel like it's worth working for. But I gotta be committed to rolling up my sleeves and being like, well, this is it. This is it. Like, I gotta be real. I gotta be, 10 toes down in it. And like I said, some days are easier than others. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not gonna, tell no falsehoods to you. But to God be the glory. I got somebody, and I have something I believe worth fighting for. And so, and this is also teaching me a lesson as well, y'all, because I've come a long way when it comes to marriage, just in general. Like, I used to think that, marriage was something I was entitled to, not something that I was blessed with. And I have to understand that this is a blessed opportunity that, unfortunately, less and less women are getting the chance to experience. So I'm count it all joy, and I definitely consider it a blessing.
Okay. So it says, what is a non-negotiable for you?
I put it in the camera. Let them see it. Let them see it now. Come on now. Yeah. Get that light. Yeah, right there. Right there. What is a non-negotiable for you?
This is kind of I'm gonna say trick question, but this is what I'm about to say hasn't always been true for me though.
Okay.
Like it is now.
You want those ribs? Those watermelon rind ribs?
That might be on the list.
That ain't on the list.
Because we gonna be a serious trip. You ever try to feed me that?
I told you gonna eat it. You gonna eat it.
Yeah. Anyway, infidelity.
That wasn't always on the list for you?
No, I never was a kid. Never really thought about it. Do you? I do me. I don't care.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is big.
But it
that is big.
It changed after I came home. I guess I don't know if it was maturity.
I'm sure.
Or just might have been conscious.
Mm-hmm.
Might just be my conscience, like beating at me. Like I said, like all the females I dealt with, there's only one that I feel like I owe a conversation to.
Yeah, you told me.
Yeah. So yeah, like that's not and I think even more so now that I've read some of the scripture that I did read, like early on when I was reading all the marriage stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that.
Well, until Michael B. Jordan comes around, I don't think you have nothing to worry about, babe.
You know I'm gonna drag him, right? We're gonna see if you really know that stuff from Creed and Black Panther.
And what's the new one? Soldier, right? Something like that.
Hey, don't even, I know he ain't playing no Burns.
I'm gonna do one. Because this one, this is this was my prayer card for today. And so this is Philippians 4, 6 through 7. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God, which passes all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. Amen. That was my prayer card for today. But the one that Naima picked up, thank you. And I will go ahead and read that because Holy Spirit just said, Courtney, don't be a liar now. You just said you was going to read your girl. She looked up the scripture and I go ahead and make it true. And I ain't a liar. So I'm working on not being a liar. Amen. It says this was Matthew 7, 3 through 5. It says, and why do you look at the speck in your brother's eye? So this is for you, Donald Swagger. And why do you look at the speck in your brother's eye, but do not consider the plank in your own eye? Or how can you say to your brother, let me remove the speck from your eye, and look, a plank is in your own eye? Hypocrite. First, remove the plank from your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. Oh, that was a good observation, babe. Mm-hmm. So, Donald Swaggart, work on the white church being more of an invitation, okay? Having a congregation of invitation than just saying, okay, Black church, y'all have some moral issues. Because absolutely, I can say that is true. But as Husband said, that wasn't even my stance, but as Husband said, yes, you have some work to do on your side of the aisles first. You absolutely do. And when it comes to our side, that does not negate nor take away nor dismiss what needs to go on our side. But as we know, it is going to be a whole lot better received with grace and with love if it is an attempt or intention on correcting matters within your own house first. We can see and we can discuss that a whole lot better. So with that being said, y'all, we're gonna bid y'all a good night. We want to thank everyone who has y'all are the MVPs this week. We have been getting just great contributions to the 501(c)(3) push, to the t-shirt business. We want to thank everyone for just supporting. Please continue to do so. If you have not, and Naima, girl, we've been riding for a good minute now. You better pick you up a shirt. Pick you up too. Come on, you and the Semper Fi.
I have
2 shirts.
16 shirts left.
Wow. We are down, y'all, because we started with what, like 58?
No.
How many?
Well, we started off with 50, but remember I cooked a couple.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I burned a couple. We down to 16. So get them while they hot.
Literally. And we now can do long sleeves too, y'all. We now can do long sleeves too. So make sure.
Price change for long sleeves though.
It depends. Yeah. Okay. Well, let me know. Thank you so much, David. Thank you. David, make sure you pick up a shirt too, because these are faithful tees. We are Kingdom Over Culture. We have some awesome scriptures that are on some, and we can customize too. So maybe even Matthew 7, 3 through 5. You can put that on one, right? And noblesse oblige. All right. So we have some specialty and some customizable shirts as well. And again, they can be in whatever color you like. You can get them long sleeve for just a couple of bucks more, y'all. But that is the information. Please, in the subject line, just put your size, put your color, and put your address, and we will get you a shirt, an official Dos Das design that has the colored only cafe logo, simple logo on the sleeve. So it signifies that you were a part of the journey that helped us into becoming a full-fledged 501(c)(3), and we will be forever grateful for that contribution. We thank you for your time here tonight, that you did not consider it robbery to come on with us a little later and spend this extra time to discuss, unpack, and fellowship in the Word. So thank you for being a part of What in the Word Wednesday. We'll see you on the next.
Peace and blessings to you too, David.
Gang, gang.
We're not gang.
We're Kingdom Gang. Kingdom Gang.